There you go.
Okay, so.
Where is he?
He's back there.
Oh, he's back there doing his thing.
Yeah. All right. So. Two things I want to show you. All right, so first thing I'll show you is just the Mark 3.7. I was going to do my own self-promotion. But, Mark37.com. As I said, I believe that we can live free and thrive. Curated products and services for sovereign lifestyle. Curated is key. Again, there's Man of Nation, and there's Public Square. I'm not saying that they're bad companies. They're great companies. They're helping spread awareness. But they have, T-shirts and cigars and wine and all kinds of stuff. I don't think those products are going to move the needle from transforming humanity, but I would rather have us spend dollars with companies that are aligned. So we cover technology you can trust, health and wellness, homesteading. So if you're here, you go into technology. Oh crap, that's right. All right, but I will do that real quick. Hold on. So for my phone, I can do hotspot. I'll just preempt the question. Yes, you can do a hotspot from the mobile or the open source operating system devices. Alright. There we are again.
You know the password for
So if you guys are interested in the phones, this is where you can go. Buy the Ghost phone. Pixel. We use Pixel devices exclusively because the operating system that we use, that's called Graphene OS, it only works on Pixel devices. The short reason is because Android is the open source framework for Graphene OS, which is also open source. So Google Android uses that open source Android framework that's like the core components, and then they build on top of it and they close source the entire thing. Graphene OS took that Android open source and they built on top of it and they kept it open source. The reason why we think Graphene OS is the most secure and private operating system for mobile devices is because what it does is it sandboxes every application on that device. Meaning, no one app on there can speak to another app. No, the operating system itself can't do anything on the back end without notifying you. So you will get a notification that says, hey, this app wants access to your contacts or your Wi-Fi or whatever. And you can say, no, thank you. No, I'm not gonna give you access. So you get more notifications on the device. And some people say, well, that's annoying. I'm like, well, that's a feature, not a bug. I would rather get the notification that's telling me that something is trying to do something on this device and make me aware of it than it just doing it in the background without me being aware of it. In the settings, you can go in and you can say, yes, I want this app to continue to have access to my GPS if my GPS is turned on so that you don't have to do it every single time. But that's what makes this operating system very unique. It has other features in that when you do turn the mic off, the mic is permanently off, or the camera or whatever, other pieces. And that's all been tested. Again, because all the code is open source, you can see that it does what it's supposed to be doing, or that it is what it says it is. So there's different Pixel devices. You can do some searches, though, if you go. And so this is the phone. I will show you a bunch of the apps. We've got a bunch of Q&A. 100% of the questions that we get from people that go over here and say, hey, we want to ask a question, are already addressed on the website and can be answered if you do that, or if you go into our forums and you go to All About Phones. We have Getting Started with Your Ghost Phone, which is a great tool, resource. It's basically our how-to guide, and then a bunch of questions that people have asked over time, our FAQ. We've got almost every question you can imagine about these things that I'm sure you have. We'll cover some of these questions today. So that's on the website. in our forums. That's the phone. The other cool one is we sell the Faraday bags. Goes laptop. All right, so this is a very basic standard laptop. It is a Dell. Sometimes we use an HP. We're totally open. If you have a very specific, need. So, for example, there's someone who said, "Hey, I need a 17-inch screen because I have bad eyes. Can you work with me to convert a laptop to open source that's of a certain type?" We definitely can. We have vendors that we procure from that sell us used, mint condition devices. That's key, because I do not want to contribute to the planned obsolescence economy. I don't want to be buying brand new stuff, which just requires that we mine more hard minerals out of the ground, and just unneeded. There are over, what was it? I think it was over 8 billion mobile devices, smartphones, in the world today, in the market. Of those 8 billion, it's close to 6 billion have been discarded. So we buy mint condition, used Pixel devices and laptops, and we scrub it with whatever the operating system is, and then we reformat it with various open source stuff, and then we preload it with our apps. So, for example, go back to the phone. Actually, I'm just going to show that to you in a minute. So I don't want to put it down. All right, so that's just the technology aspect. I literally have about 8 different vendors that I just don't. By the way, we're bootstrapping this whole business. I have self-funded this whole thing. We have brought in no outside capital for all the reasons I think I've already explained to you. I really only have me and a handful of other people. Most of us have full-time jobs elsewhere. So we're doing this out of just the pure love of wanting to spread this information. I told you about this. You can find this article here. Some of the other articles that we have. So we have products in health and wellness that are not live here, but have to do with that atmospheric water generation system. I've got so much stuff that needs to get done in so few hours of the day to do it. But Marcus, actually, who's here, is going to be starting out. Marcus, raise your hand. Marcus in the back. He's starting with me starting Monday to help out with some things. So God bless you, Marcus. All right, I'm going to get off this page. Off that page. So this is, if you want to learn more about Graphene OS and want to really geek out, their FAQ is massive. So you could totally geek out on what this operating system is, how it works, why is it so private, why is it so secure, go through some basic FAQs so you know what you're getting yourself into. For those of you who want to, grapheneos.org, you can dig into it. Zorn is what we use for laptops because it is truly what there's a lot of flavors of Linux, which is an open source operating system. Zorn we have found to be the simplest, easiest to use, like coming from iOS or from Microsoft, doesn't matter. It just works, and it's super simple, super easy. The operating system I use on this device is called Pop! OS, but it's also super simple to use. Pop! OS is the open source operating system that is controlled and managed by a company called System 76. It's also on the resources guide. If you can see my laptop back here, System 76 makes this thing. They have all shapes and sizes of laptops and servers that they make. It's got all the plugs that you would need. You can customize it. They are actually super hot on making everything they do customizable. So no matter what size, shape, how much RAM, CPU, storage you need, they've got an option for you. So there's options.
Distro watch.
Say that again?
Distro watch.
Distro watch?
Yes. That's a lot of open source stuff for Linux.
I will write that down. Distro watch. DISTRO watch.
.com.
If you want to geek out on, I think I do know about distro watch. In fact, I'm sure
If you want to geek
Graphene.
out
So this is one of the guys on my team. His name is Aaron Amick. He runs Amick Tactical, former Special Forces. He takes the gear, like the backpacks and stuff, and customizes it. He also manufactures those Faraday bags, the bigger Faraday bag I showed you. But he also is a PI, private investigator, and he and I are talking daily about all the stuff we do. He has an amazing resource, mySCGOP.news. Find the resources and links. If you really want to go down the rabbit hole, highly recommend you read this, Privacy and Information Toolkit. 90 some odd pages walking you through the details of both mobile operating systems, open source mobile operating systems, and Linux. If you want to read, if you're a reader, this is what you want to do. If you'd rather not watch video tutorials and you'd rather read, which that's me, he's got a great resource here. We've basically taken chunks of this and then added onto it to create the tutorials that we use. And then he just keeps going with tools and links on everything that you could possibly need. And forums that you can go, other links that you have. So if you really want to dig into this stuff, Telegram channels. By the way, worth mentioning, there are some amazing Telegram channels. I know some people have said you should be concerned about Telegram. Telegram is open source, people. We have, our coders have dug into the code of Telegram. It's being used on the local devices, and we don't see any major reason why people should be concerned about Telegram. Are people mining data and spamming on that platform? Definitely. They do that on every social media platform. But we don't think there's anything specifically nefarious about Telegram itself that is going on. Other podcasts if you want to geek out on this stuff. So anyway, great resource. Jeff.pro, which I mentioned, again, if you want to geek out on stuff for $1, you can get the video tutorials. But also Jeff.pro, that's for the $1, you got to go to Mark 37. But Jeffrey Peterson, is a great writer, and he's got tons of content that he's been pushing out on all the relevant topics, whether it's AI or this new virtual reality, augmented reality from Apple, you name it. He's got great articles up here. Worth digging into. I told you about Liberation Tech. This is just their homepage. But they've got all kinds of hosting services, like plug-and-play e-commerce hosting for websites. They've got web development resources. They've got all kinds of stuff. Their thing that they call Hub is effectively the Office 365 alternative that we are directing people to use. Here it comes. But this will give you, there, do a great job explaining it. But I'll let you guys do this on your own time. Okay, American Cloud, talked about that. If you want to check out the differences between specific phones, or you want to compare what your phone is now to one of the Pixel phones, this is a great website. Is it gsmarena.com? I don't have that on the resources page, I should. gsmarena.com. That you can say, well, I'm interested in the 6 Pro or the 5, and I want to see how that compares from a size, specs, RAM, whatever. This is a great tool to use for that. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to show you. So I've got a cool little app that allows me to view allows me to show you the view on a mobile device.
Sean, I have a question. So, if someone to this Liberation Tech, okay, I'm not geeky at all, so I'm like mainstream 7th grade level on this stuff. So, if I had a new business that I'm starting, and I have a URL that I bought from GoDaddy, and I want a virtual assistant to make me a website, I can use that liberation to do all this stuff, like host a website?
Yes, so they have a team that will help migrate your website off of wherever you are now over to them. They have a team of developers if you need someone to help you design or develop anything specifically on the website, or just make some minor tweaks or changes to it. And then they also have the tools, like those Office 365 alternative tools as well, that they can help set up for you and get you access to.
Okay, so then, and then the other question is, like, so interfacing with, like, I don't really want to do social media, but the coach I'm working with wants me to do a little bit more social media, and she's, you know, Facebook and whatever. I might not do too much of that, or Instagram or Pinterest, whatever, but do you not want to put that stuff on there at all, or it's okay because they won't be able to track you? Is that?
So again, when you are logged in, I would not download the app. I would not download the Facebook app or whatever. If you're going to log in, you just go to the website and you log in via the website. And you may consistently get the friggin' notification from Instagram or whatever that says, this experience would be way better if you downloaded our app. They want you to download the app because then they can more track what's going on the device. That app would not, again, like I said before, if you're using that Graphene OS operating system that we pre-install on our phones, it will not be able to speak to. So that Facebook app on your device will not be able to speak to other apps on your device without your permission. So you may get a flag that says Facebook wants to access your contacts, and you can say, no thank you. It'll say, we want access to your GPS. You can say, no thank you. But if you're at Facebook or on Facebook via the browser, then everything you do while you're logged in is going to be tracked. But when you log out and you turn the browser off, then Facebook has no ties into the device. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and for me personally, I don't do stuff on my phone like that. But I mean, most people do. But I do desktop stuff. So in that way. But for phone, I don't do apps anyway. I don't want to do that. I have too much stuff I don't even do email on my phone because I don't want more stuff in my head.
Yeah.
So, but just for business-wise, I'm wondering how to go back and forth, and if I wanted to really get serious about being more private but still having a business. So, okay.
So real quick, the Pixel device here that you're showing, we would buy that Pixel device, give it to you, and then you would? No.
Great question. So, no, I have dozens of these devices that we've already pre-installed and preloaded everything on it. I'm going to show you one of them actually right now that why is this thing? Check. My tech will comply.
He was just saying you could read this.
So here's a phone. It is a Pixel 4 XL. You can see it right here, Pixel 4 XL. If you look back here, you can see the physical device. Back here, Pixel 4 XL. Technical difficulties. All right. So this is, so I'm literally on the device right now. Just whatever I do, you see on this device. So it comes pre-installed with all of these apps. Mother. Comes pre-installed with all these apps. We added almost all these apps. Just think about this real quick. This is very conceptually important to understand. Down the bottom left here, you see Vanadium. This is a browser. The reason why it looks like the Chrome browser is because Chrome is actually using the open source Vanadium open source browser, and they added on their own Google stuff and called it Chrome. So you need a browser on any device if you're gonna then access the internet, because you can't then download an app store to get apps unless you have a browser. So the apps that you see listed here, they're all in black and white, are the ones that are embedded on the phone and do not go away, like settings, PDF viewer, phone, messaging, gallery, files, contacts, calculator, auditor, apps. The rest of it is also that we load onto the device. We load this stuff onto the device because it allows you, the user, to be able to get up and running very quickly and easily, and you don't have to mine through and search through and try to find stuff to use. It just works. It's just here, it works. So LibreOffice, how many of you have heard of LibreOffice? LibreOffice is the open source Microsoft Office alternative. I will show you, for example. You can literally just go to LibreOffice.com, download it. This is their Word version. Literally, you can change around the view up here to make it look however you want. You can even make it look like your Mac. I don't know what Mac's is called, but their document editor. They have an Excel one.
You see the letters LIB.
That is called something else. I can see the full screen. Very new. Spreadsheet. Presentation, drawing, formula. There's all these different things that you can use. So if I want to do a spreadsheet, looks exactly
According
like
to
Excel.
Wikipedia, the Iran
Works exactly
Lions are a
like
fictional
Excel.
extraterrestrial.
Same functions, same everything. Literally is Excel. Open source Excel, right?
Sorry.
So the basic apps that you would need from a business perspective, just to get up and running, are all right there.
How would that, if you're working out in the world of clients and they're all hooked up to Zoom and Microsoft Office, and
Yeah.
how do you interface with them, or can you use Jitsi?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if someone wants you to join a Zoom conference call, can you still do it? Yes, you can. You can do it through the browser. If someone wants you to join a Skype call, you can do it through the browser. If someone wants you to join an MS Teams call, you can do it through the browser. You don't have to download the app, that conferencing app, onto your phone. Or you just dial in. Like if they don't need to see you, you just dial in the phone number. There's always a dial-in phone number that you can use. But that's a good question. Most people think that they need to have the app to make it work. And just as, for example, I was just showing someone 2 seconds ago. She said, well, I want this specific podcast. And I said, well, let's do that for you. So we went to Brave. What the heck is Brave? This is actually one of the key features that even works on your phone right now. By the way, this is the demo phone that I haven't set up yet, so I may not need to. It's default. New team. All right. So let's say Epoch Times. I want Epoch Times on my, oh crap.
Like I do around technology. Get lost.
That's what I asked. Oh, Tara's back.
All right, I'm back up. So this is my phone. So I'll go to Brave. Let's say I want to check the Dow Jones every day. I check it just to see if if the world has collapsed yet. So I want this on my homepage. I go into the settings right down here in the bottom right corner, right?
Yep.
And I go, see this thing says add to home screen? Add to home screen. What do I want to call it? Call it whatever the heck I want. And it'll pop up. See this right here? See this app right here? That's it. It pops up on my home screen. So every time I click on that, or if I want to see what's the top crypto, it opens up the website. Boom, I'm there. It happens for, if you want Facebook, you could do that for Facebook. You don't need to download the app. You can just add it to your home screen.
I like that.
right? Super simple. You don't need to download the app. You can just show it on your home screen.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, I'm real simple with this, so if I wanna get this phone, this Ghost phone,
Yeah.
and I have, cause you have to have some kind of service, so you just take the SIM card out of your phone and put it in this phone, and that's as simple as you gotta.
It's as simple as it gets, buddy. You really take the SIM card out of your phone and you just add it to, it's just like when you're changing,
Can you use that with iPhones?
yes. That SIM card will work regardless of the device itself. Yeah. The only gotcha is if you use Pure Talk. There's just some settings that you have to, network settings, and in our forum on our website, you can just go into the FAQ and look up Pure Talk, or just find the question around Pure Talk. There's a different, you have to go to settings, you have to go to network, you have to change some of the settings to make sure it works on the network.
But everything has to be unlocked, right? Unlocked, everything has to be unlocked?
Not swapping your SIM card. But, so, the phones that we use, all of our phones, we specifically, and it took a while for us to find a manufacturer or a reseller that would do the checking to make sure that the phone itself is OEM unlocked, which allows us to pull off Google Android and or the iOS. Well, it's not iOS because iPhones, you cannot unlock an iPhone, by the way. If you have an iPhone, I'm sorry, you're stuck with Apple. You have to get off of an iPhone. So we make sure it's OEM unlocked so that we can actually scrub the Google Android, and we make sure it's carrier unlocked so that it will work across any carrier, right? So if you have a Pixel phone, a lot of people say, well, I have a Pixel phone. How can I check to see if it's compatible? Well, very simple. You go to the About phone, you scroll down to Build, and you have to tap it a bunch of times. It says no need, you're already a developer, but you get into developer mode, you just tap it 6 times. You go to System. Again, this is all tutorial stuff that's online on our website. Developer options. See where it says OEM unlocking right here? This will tell you if it's unlockable or not. You guys now know my password. I'm gonna have to change it. If it's not unlockable, this will be grayed out and you won't be able to move it. That is about 70% of devices are locked because either Google or the carrier doesn't want you to unlock it. They don't want you to be able to change the operating system. A lot of times the phones that you have, if you're paying a monthly recurring fee for the device itself, it's going to be locked because they're going to want to make sure that you can't get off of their network, you can't basically stop using their stuff. So our phones that we sell that are shipped directly to you, that show up in those boxes that you see up very front that I was standing next to, they'll show up in that box. It's got a tutorial inside of it. It's got the link that you need to get to the forums. It's got some stickers. The phone shows up and it has all the apps that you saw on that other device. I've obviously modified some of the apps because I didn't need some and I added others. I have a Calyx VPN on here. This is the VPN that I use. I'll show you an app store. So here's the F-Droid App Store, open source app store. So show you all the VPNs that are available. Let's go to searching for VPNs. But you can go to categories, connectivity related apps, development related apps, games, graphics, internet, multimedia, navigation. There's thousands of apps on here. You just have to dig around with them and use them like anything else. You have to figure out if you want to use it or not. Aurora is another app store. Had some issues about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, where it wasn't loading properly, but they've fixed that. Where you can, what Aurora does is it spoofs the Google Play Store. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you can look at all the apps that are available on Google Play Store, you can download them, use them, and Google has no idea who you are. It's basically, they set up a VPN effectively between Google and you, so that Google does not know what apps you're downloading and using. I don't know why this thing is so it looks like, just like any other app store. There's another app store called Aptoide, Aptoide. They're their own separate thing. They're not spoofing Google. They're not just focused on open source. They're their own app store, but they have nearly every app that you can imagine. So for example, my kids, once they prove to me that they can make smart decisions, which thankfully I've got a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old, they're making pretty smart decisions these days. I give them access, and they have never once come to me and said, Dad, I can't use this. It doesn't have whatever. NewPipe, here's another. Any questions about app stores, by the way, before I move on? I've got OCD, so I'm all over the place.
What was that point again?
I'm sorry, ADHD, not OCD. I think I do. My wife will tell you I have OCD. What?
Aptoide versus Aurora store?
Aptoide and Aurora Store.
What's the difference?
Aurora Store is spoofing the Google Play Store. So it's literally everything you see in Google Play Store you would see in Aurora. Aptoide is its own totally separate app store.
So your kids can download the Facebook app on Aurora, and then they can't be tracked.
No, once you log into your Facebook account, right, then you're tracked because you're logged into your account. Then Facebook knows this device, this IP address, this phone number is tied to the account now, right? Yeah.
I use the Aurora, and I was going to put down, I like to play a word game, and I'm just sitting in the doctor's office, and it said, this is a dangerous app, are you sure you want to download it?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I ended up losing Aurora. Oops, I got over it.
So it wasn't Aurora that was dangerous, it was the app, right? So you have to know, right? A lot of these apps that we use on a regular basis, what are they really doing on the back end? I would say read the comments and see if you can find that word game in F-Droid first. Like I would go to F-Droid first, because that's all open source, and it's run by an open source community. It's run by people who are literally watching for security and privacy. If it's not on there and you need to have it elsewhere, then I would go to Aurora. But when you download that app, again, it's not like your whole phone is compromised. You just have to see how that app is now working. And if you start you have a basic word game and it's saying, hey, this word app wants access to your contacts, right? You can be like, no. It wants access to your GPS. Why, right? That's where you know you have an app that's monetizing you because it's pulling all that data and it's selling that data. That's how most of these apps make money, not just by you buying in-app purchases or paying to download it, but they're selling your data. So these apps that are quote unquote free are not free. They're making money off of selling your data. And they're pulling your data off that device once you install that app. So I would reinstall, where I showed you still have Aurora on there, right? But you uninstall the app itself. Yeah. So, crap, I lost my train of thought. I was going to show you, this is an important one, NewPipe. NewPipe is spoofing YouTube. So just as Aurora spoofs Google Play Store, NewPipe does the same thing with YouTube. So YouTube, no commercials also on NewPipe. So everything, my daughter was like, well, I don't know, does it have X, Y, Z for, I like watching Minecraft videos. Okay, Minecraft. And I showed her, basically walked through all the stuff that she was questioning, had everything that she was looking for. She was like, oh, okay. So now she just uses this. I told you about Odyssey. Odyssey is basically like a YouTube alternative. It's all open source. Everything in here is uncensored. They don't allow pornography and crazy stuff, but if you wanted to find the Mark through 7 account, this is our channel. This is the video I told you guys about, Digital Privacy Bootcamp. Right there. See, it's only an hour and 20 minutes versus the hour and 45 minutes I gave you earlier. So you've got 30 minutes of bonus content, 20 minutes of bonus content. All right, so that's Odyssey, NewPipe, we got Brave Browser, Truth Social. By the way, if you want to follow me on social, I'm very active on Truth Social. I don't have much time in my day, but I am on Truth on a regular basis.
I was going to ask you a quick question. Truth Social.
Yep.
I've gotta shut my VPN off
Yep.
to see anything on Truth
Yeah.
Social. It's the only one of all of them.
Yep, that is a very specific decision that they made as a company because the vast majority of bots are actually going through VPNs to anonymize where those bots are coming from. So if you're going through a VPN, you can't access Truth Social. It just is what it is.
Okay.
In fact, a handful of developers over at Truth are close personal friends of mine. So if you have interesting questions or needs related to Truth Social, I'll probably help you out.
They're good people.
But follow me on True Social. Sean, I think I'm Sean Patrick Terrio, at Sean Patrick Terrio, Sean P. Terrio. This is me. I have a lot of spicy. Me being very pissed off and calling people out on not, like this is a perfect one.
Say I can't read it.
I'm harping on this one on a regular basis.
What did he say?
We can't read
It
it.
says, this is just not going to work out, and it's growth sitting down with comfort.
Oh,
All right. But what about my GPS, Sean? Does it have GPS? I use Google Maps, or I use whatever all the time. Yup. This is exactly where we are. All right. I will say, I want to go home. History. To home and then. Routes me there. I hit start. It'll talk to me. I can change the voices. I have an Australian lady that talks to me because I like the accent. Works just like all the other ones. Now, does it mean that it's going to show me every McDonald's? No. Does it show me like every small business in every area? No. Every now and again, I might say, well, crap, I need to use Google's because, I might be in a strange place and I really need to find a certain thing that's not showing up on mine. I go to the browser and I search through the browser. Why do I do it through the browser? Because this way, it's not going to be embedding anything onto my device. And if I'm using Brave, Brave is also an added firewall between me and the website that I'm at so that I can find whatever I'm looking for. Kingston Plantation condos. I can do it all through this, right? And it might say, but Sean, here, directions, it's gonna say, we wanna know your location. Nope, I'm not giving you my location, but I will type it in, right? I'll say I'm at 109 Robin Hill. So I don't give it access to my GPS, but I can still put in my location. Whatever, it's not where I am, but whatever, this works just fine. You can use it. It will not move with you if you do not give it access to your GPS, correct? But again, once I know where I'm going, I can then copy and paste and I'll just remember it and type it in here. And this will give me the directions. I'm yet to have there's the directions and the maps on this are just as good as they are on Google Maps. The only thing is every now and again, there's a specific business that I want to find in the local area that will not show up on this. Hold on, the other very important thing to know about this app specifically, there's another one that I don't have on mine, but that we pre-installed 2 map apps so that you guys can choose. One's called like OEM something. What's cool about them both, they install the maps on the local device. So it's not going to a cloud service to access that map and taking that data, your data, it's all embedded on the local device. So all of this is happening on the local device here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's important to understand. And my device just... All right, we're back in action, we're back in action. Yes, question?
So what is that mapping app? If we wanted to use it, can you?
Yes, it's called Magic Earth. And the one for if you're on a laptop, there's one that I use. That is called OpenStreetMap. OpenStreetMap.org. OpenStreetMap.org. And all these apps are getting better and better almost daily because more and more people are using them, and more people are contributing code. All right. Any questions about the mapping stuff? Yes, sir.
One thing about watches. Do you plan on doing watches at all?
No.
Okay.
It, like, I think I was explaining to someone earlier, like, I'm a Luddite, to be totally honest with you. Like, I want to get off of all this stuff. If I could truly disembark from all this and just work on my homesteading in my house all day, every day, I would be a happy man, right? So help me blow up Mark 37 and be amazing and make a ton of money so I can go back to just living on my property, doing my own thing, please. I would be very happy. Sorry, yeah. So no Apple Watches. I think the less technology we have on us, near us, and around us, the better, but it is a useful tool. That's another important thing. Technology is a tool, even AI, just my brief commentary, technology is a tool. It can be used for good, it can be used for evil, just like a weapon. A firearm can be used for good, it can be used for evil, just like a hammer. Same thing, it is a tool. It depends on the person that's using it, what their intentions are. Someone had a question. Yes? Yeah.
I noticed on the phone there's a K9 proton.
Correct. Two different email applications that you can use. K9 Mail, you're basically just pulling your email from wherever you're getting your email from, so you can't set up an email account with K9 Mail. You can't get like an @K9 Mail account, but it's like your Outlook, right? Or your Thunderbird. If you guys haven't heard of Thunderbird, Thunderbird is an open source alternative to Outlook. Proton Mail, you can get an Proton Mail account, and they have the ability for you to look at your email and view your email and manage the whole thing within that environment. So two different types of email accounts. Yeah. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, did you say we could not take our SIM card out of an iPhone to?
You can, sorry. You can take your SIM card out of an iPhone and put it into a Ghost phone or an Above phone or any of these other phones that are out there. It will work. It'll transfer your account with Verizon or Pure Talk or whatever, and your plan. Your plan and your carrier go with that SIM card. Once you put it into the new device, it will move everything over to the new device. You cannot de-Apple an Apple device, an iPhone specifically. You have to go to an Android device, an Android compatible phone, which is what ours is. And ours is specifically a Pixel device. And people say, well, Google made the Google Pixel devices. Like, isn't Google evil? Yes, Google is evil. But the reason why we use the Pixel devices and why Graphene OS works on the Pixel devices is because it was optimized for Android. The open source Android. So Google created a phone to be optimized for the open source Android. So that means all the forks off of Android on all the different versions of Android, like Linux. Think of Linux from a laptop perspective and all the flavors of Zorin and Mint and all these, and Pop OS are all flavors of Linux, right? Google Android, Graphene OS, Calyx OS, Lineage OS are all versions of Android. They're all based on that core Android operating system, open source operating system. Does that make sense?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the Zorin operating system just a mini Linux system, or does it install the Linux system on your?
It is the operating system.
It is the operating system.
It is.
Yeah.
If your telephone says no SIM restrictions, does that mean my telephone is unlocked? It's an iPhone.
If it's an iPhone, it means from a carrier perspective. So that means it'll work across any carrier. So some phones will only, it won't allow you to switch from Verizon to T-Mobile or AT&T. It's carrier locked. Again, those devices tend to be the ones where you're paying a monthly recurring service for the phone itself, right?
I bought the unlocked phone from Apple,
Right.
and I wanted to make sure it's still locked. Is that what you're saying?
So it is, yeah. So all iPhones are locked, and that you cannot take that iOS operating system off of the phone. You can change carriers, you can't change operating systems. Yes?
You might do with my old Apple, now that I'm done with it, how do you get rid of it?
Shred it, shoot it, use it for target practice? Yeah, I would use it for target practice.
I like this.
Sorry. Yeah.
So for us old schoolers that, if we had questions, do we get to call you
Great question. So you can go to our website, normal office hours, you go here. It'll either be me or Shane Cooper. Shane is on my team, he works out of Ohio, great human. Or it'll be Aaron Amick who may answer and talk live chat with you during office hours. Or you go to the forum here.
Right.
I would encourage you to go to the forum because literally 100% of the time when people ask questions in the live chat, I'm just redirecting them to the full detailed answer that someone had already asked the same question. So, I mean, we have a lot of Q's and A's that have gone through here. And then in addition to that, highly recommend, once and if you buy a phone, getting started with the Ghost phone. This is a long document, but it will cover exactly how to get started. So we just launched, for those of you who already bought phones, love you, appreciate you. I love all of you, but I especially love those who already bought phones. We just launched this May 16th it went live, so a couple weeks ago. But I would highly recommend you go back and read through this. So definitely go back and read through this. This will help you make sense of what's going on. A lot of it is just the tutorial that I gave. And actually, speaking of which, where's my Odyssey? I have Odyssey up. So a modified version of literally what I'm doing now, I did in a live chat with customers. Anyway, if you go here, right here. I do a demo of the phone. I walk through a handful of the apps. So if you want to see, a live demo, if you want to refresher on some of the content, what I would say, again, 75% of the stuff I've covered here is covered in this video. It's going to take a little bit just because I'm using my mobile thing for everything. Does Pixel? No, it has nothing. Totally separate companies. She asked, does Pixel have anything to do with Disney? It does not. It has nothing to do with Disney. Okay, let's go back to the device. Here. All right. So, stop current navigation. Yes. Oh, so here's another key thing. In settings, see this search? A lot of people say, well, I don't know how I change this or do that, and literally just search any keyword. So I want to change my gesture navigation. I like this 3-button navigation on the bottom. See these things on the bottom? This will show all the open apps that I have. This will take me home. This will take me back. If I'm on something and I want to go back, it'll take me back, right? Makes it super simple so you don't have to memorize, well, do I need 2 fingers or 3 fingers? Yeah. Yes. I've got our account set up. We're ready to go. There we go. So she asked if she can pay me with Liberty Dollars. Can you just briefly explain to people what Liberty Dollars is? Because I think it is important. I do want people to understand it. Okay.
Test, can you hear me? Yeah. We are a private membership association. Anyone can join. There's no monthly membership fees, but we are the quickest way to move in and out of silver. Silver is not the currency, but we offer the warehouse receipts, both digital and paper money, that you can use with different members or local merchants. And Mark 37 is set up to accept Liberty Dollars, and he can redeem.
Actually, we're not set up yet because I think your API.
Okay, we're still working on that?
Yeah, in like a week we should be able to.
But then he could turn around and redeem the Liberty Dollars for the silver, physical silver, or the cash value, whichever he chooses to do.
Yeah.
So, and you can use it if you have, businesses, like I said, you have APIs, stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
We're just another alternative solution for when
You also
stuff-
issue the paper.
Yeah, the paper
receipts.
warehouse receipts as
Paper
well.
warehouse receipts. So if you had the paper warehouse receipts, she could give me those. I could take those. We could use those.
He just doesn't have the API set up for you guys yet.
Correct.
But since I have an account and he has an account, all I need is his email address, and I just transfer it to him, and it's automatic.
Explain the silver notes.
The silver notes, they're the warehouse receipts. They've been around forever. Basically, whoever holds that receipt is entitled to whatever the face value is. It's denominated in fractions of ounces, and on the back is a QR code, so if you went to the merchant, it would tell you what current spot price is for that denomination, or that fraction of an ounce.
Explain why it is that those are important versus using silver or gold or whatever for
Oh yeah,
exchange.
because we're on our 25-year anniversary, so if you sign up, follow us, we're gonna be having our 25-year anniversary in Myrtle Beach. So we've been around in some form or fashion, and the person that created this, Vern Von Notehouse, about 20 years ago, he did a Learning Channel video with he and my husband, and they caught him. He was actually using the physical silver rounds to barter in commerce. And that's what they got him on, was the old Civil War statute, which is on our website, I can't remember, but that's what they got him on. You cannot make, utter, pass any silver, metal coins if it's not created by Congress. But the judge ruled that digital and the warehouse receipts are perfectly lawful.
So think about that. This is why you hear states passing legislation that it's legal in that state to now use silver or gold for commerce. It is federally illegal
Prohibited by law.
for you to use silver, gold, copper, zinc, like every metal you can think of, in exchange for commerce. How asinine is that?
They tried to get him on counterfeiting to begin with, but the judge is like, your warehouse receipts doesn't look anything like fiat currency.
How ironic is that?
So go a little bit deeper, guys, and they did. So he's only like the second or third person that was ever convicted on that. So, but now we're a private membership association. We're set up as a business trust. We're not LLC. We're not any of that. So that's why I'm glad we ran across Sean here, because I've talked to him too, because we want to get on the private side of stuff.
Where are you out of, and what is your website?
We are out of Walterboro, South Carolina right now, and the website is ldfa.nl, and I brought business cards with me if anybody would like anything.
Not on that table.
I can put some out there.
LDFA, Liberty Dollar Financial
And
Association.
another one is
LDFA.nl.
ylibertydollars.com. That's more geared to merchants and business owners. That tells you, YWHY libertydollars.com explains why it's beneficial to accept them as a local merchant. And that's what we're about, is private money for private people, keeping local money local. So,
Okay, so it's ldfa.com.
No,
Dot
NL.
NL,
N as in
Nancy,
Nancy, L as in Lucy.
Netherlands. So,
What is it again?
L as in Lucy.
yeah,
D as in dollar.
LDFA, like Liberty Dollar Financial Association, .nl, and over the next few days, we are moving servers, so it might be down for a few days, but it's ldfa.nl or ylibertydollars.com. That's WHY, and then libertydollars.com if you're a merchant.
Please leave your card down there.
I will leave my business cards and also the Y Liberty Dollar cards too.
The merchant has to be associated with you, right? And
Yes.
accepted? And do you have a list of the merchants that?
Those are on our website, and we're working on that. We have people in Hawaii, we have members all over the country. If you're interested in becoming a branch office or a service center in your local community, where people can come to you locally and cash in their warehouse receipts or their silver, but the merchant can redeem those for silver or cash value anytime they want to.
At spot.
At spot prices.
That's silver only, not gold, just silver.
Yeah, just silver only.
Has anyone heard of goldbacks?
Yes.
So they look like dollars. The reason you can't use those without literally being charged with a felony is because there's actual gold in the goldback.
Yeah.
So they're little gold certificates, right?
And they're
But you
still
can't
on
use those. They can get you for a felony for using that because there's actually gold in it if you use it for commerce.
Silver coin.
Ma'am?
Are the Murdochs associated with this?
Oh, God, no. I don't even know anybody in that town. We just moved there a couple of years ago, so.
Is the government trying to shut you down?
They did in the past. They did a long time ago, and they confiscated, I don't know how many millions of dollars. And Mr. Von Notehouse is still redeeming warehouse receipts to this day that people find. We still have the same 1-800 number that he had back on the original warehouse receipts back in the day, and we still to this day get calls.
You must be doing something right if they want to shut you.
Well, we kind of learned what not to do, which is I couldn't pay you in silver, physical silver, but I could pay you in the warehouse receipts. Or if you had an account like Sean here has an account, if I wanted to buy his phone, which I wanna do, and his computers, I could just go in and send him that money.
So the warehouse receipts, they don't have silver in them then?
No,
Okay.
they are just
So they're
backed by the silver.
backed by the silver.
Backed by the
So
silver.
that's the problem with the gold, is that the gold, it actually has gold in it.
Correct. The gold back has actual gold in the piece of paper.
And the silver.
One more question. If I bought Liberty Dollars and you were shut down or you took off, what's my recourse? Is there any,
No.
Well, we
my
would,
business, or you were raided, or the government seized everything?
well, can I promise you we won't be raided? They're the government, they can do whatever they want
Is
to.
there any
But
insurance? Is there anything, any recourse?
Well, like I said, Mr. Von Nohouse is still redeeming to this day. They did end up returning the silver to its rightful owners. And then they ended up returning everything to him later on. And like I said, he's still redeeming it. He has the silver for the warehouse receipts that did get distributed. And I'd like to say I have just as much integrity. You know, I'm a Christian person too. I'm not gonna do anything that I'm not supposed to do, so.
I think
Are
his
you insurance
question
back?
is it insured in any way?
No.
No,
If I
it's
put
not.
money in a bank, FDIC theoretically can.
Yeah, no.
cover it.
It's stored in Pyromet. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a big warehouse. It's the biggest warehouse for commercial grade silver. So a lot of our silver is held there, but we also hold a lot that are minted for redemption. If people want to redeem their silver, we have that on hand as well. So,
I imagine you don't track.
pardon?
I imagine you don't track where all the dollars are spent. I mean,
She's
like
saying,
the
you said
digital
you
currency.
don't. track.
Oh, no, we do not have to give up our information about our members either. That's why I want to get with Sean.
So if you haven't
And
heard
get
what a
everything even
PMA is, a
more
private
private,
member
yes.
association, they're important
Well,
because you
it's
can.
private,
Yeah.
private membership.
This is why some bars that you go to will have you like sign a thing when you go in, and you become part of the private member association, which allows them to
I'm like
serve
Costco.
past a certain period of time, or they can do a lot of things that general businesses can't do.
Thanks,
So-
guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock, so for those who need to run, I want to let you guys run. For those who still have questions, I will be here for, I've got another 45 minutes that I could hang out and answer questions until Glenn kicks us out. Which, do you need to kick us out at any given time? No. Hopefully you're learning something here and not just, okay. All right. Thank you all for showing up. Again, I will be here answering questions. Feel free, grab my card. If it's not on the table out there, don't leave without one.